Today, Laurie and I are going to be chatting about the fact that you are a diamond. We all are. What do we mean by that? Hi, and welcome to Light for Life. If you are returning to our channel, thank you. We value and appreciate you. If you are new here, you are most welcome. I am Liss. I'm a science of mind practitioner and a teacher of various healing modalities applicable to all aspects of the self and this life.
And I am Laurie. I am a holistic wellness researcher and educator. Welcome to Connections with Liss and Laurie.
Well, for me, the conversation about being a diamond has to do with the essence of who we energetically are. And to understand the difference between an essence, which is essential, and an absence, which is the fact that something essential is missing. Whatever might be missing, whatever might be a shadow or a lack, is not something that is real in and of itself. It is merely the absence of the presence of something essential. And what is essential is the energy of life, which is love, which is light. So anything that is not that, anything that you can't relate to a facet of a diamond, prisoning out that sparkling, beautiful light of life, isn't real. It's an absence of the love that we are in the core of ourselves. And the more we connect to that, the more we are in touch with our true essence, our diamond light, our diamond self. And that is love. And we do, as cliche as it might sound, Laurie, we do become more and more of that diamond here in this 3D world where we face all this pressure. Because that is how we turn this carbon into a diamond.
And, of course, I think of all of the cliches that, and maybe we should just call them parallels between how diamonds are formed and how we do grow into our strength, our clarity, facilitate the light, and become a vessel for the light. And, even if we look at all of the facets of a diamond, we can think of ourselves in ways that we've either been a little rough around the edges or polished to have some more sparkle. I mean, it does seem a little cliche, but it is true. The challenges and the pressure and the time that goes into creating a strong, clear, sparkling human. I don't know how many people are actually born a diamond. I think we do have to, I think we are a little time released. I think there is a little pressure involved. I think we do have to be squeezed a little bit in order to understand that we really are strong, yet beautiful.
I think we're born as a little spark of the light that was refracted through one facet of the diamond that we are. And so we come in as that pure little spark of light. And life is the journey of that little spark of light, realizing that it is, in fact, refracted from a facet of this magnificent diamond. And about uncovering that, about going mining and getting rid of all the dross and bringing it out to light. And how even a diamond's flaws are what cause it to refract the light in the specific way that it does. So the flaws are part of its magnificence and part of its beauty. And I think one of the things that I love most about the diamond analogy is that diamonds aren't rare.
You're right.
They're not rare. There are millions of them. But yet, kind of, economically speaking, a kind of forced shortage is maintained. Because in spite of the fact that diamonds aren't rare, they are highly, highly valuable. They're prized. They are worth so much. So just because they're not rare doesn't mean that we can go and get a diamond for 2 cents, right?
Right.
And so I love that. We are all diamonds. And yet the fact that there are millions of us doesn't make any one of us worth any less. We are still that priceless diamond, all of us. And the light of the universe, the light that makes up the entire quantum field, requires us all to be refracting the light in the unique way that we do. This came from a page called Microsoft Media, and it's just some statistics where they were saying there are 8.7 million species on the planet.
Wow.
And so out of those 8.7 million species, humans are one. And out of the 100 billion humans it's estimated to ever have lived, the odds of you being you were literally more than 400 million to 1.
Hmm.
Now you want to criticize yourself, right? Your DNA has never existed before. It won't exist again. It takes 37 billion cells working together perfectly just to keep this thing going. And it's existing on sunlight and stardust and air. I mean, seriously, we're hurtling through space, 60,000 miles an hour on a rock. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that you are you and you are here. How can you not be a diamond? Of course you are. Look at the odds. Look at the chances. We've all won the jackpot of being ourselves. It's incredible.
And it's also incredible how quickly we can diminish ourselves and forget that we were always worth something. It wasn't that we had to earn our worth. It was always there. It was never something that had to be proven. You don't have to unearth a diamond to know that the diamond is worthy. The diamond has always been worthy. And all of the facets of that unique diamond always had value. You know, I think back to how many years when I think especially in middle school and in high school, kids can really lose sight of having any value. We want so badly to fit in and to be liked, and bullying is such a huge thing right now for anybody under 25. We can so quickly lose sight of how truly brilliant we are. So, what would you say to somebody who might be watching this and is having a really hard time remembering that they're priceless, that they have always had value and have always had worth, and they are a genetic miracle?
Well, you know, to me, it's utterly fascinating that a concept so diametrically opposed to the truth, such as worthlessness, could even exist. Never mind be so effectively transferred to us. It's astounding to me how we can have so much incredible intrinsic worth and value and yet be convinced so incredibly easy that we're worthless. I know I grew up feeling entirely, 100% completely worthless. And I know that is true for so many people. And so again, maybe I'm a simple girl, but for me, it starts with truly getting to know yourself. even on a very surface level, your personality, your character traits, getting to know yourself and being honest with yourself about who you are. And I always say, let's not start with high worth and high value as the target we're trying to reach. Let's not even attempt to reach for love. If really, really low self-esteem is something that we're struggling with, let's just try to find a few things about ourselves that we really like. I really like that I'm very considerate. I really like the fact that I can be very generous. I like how dedicated and committed I am. I like. It's actually remarkably easy to come up with a list of at least 20 or 30 things that you can genuinely say you like about yourself. And I always set my personal connections a target of 100 things. If you get stuck at 35, then phone your best friend and ask them please to tell you as lovingly as possible what your top 10 traits are in their opinion. And then believe them when they tell you. Speak to the person that you know genuinely loves you and ask them, what do you think makes me a lovable person? Until you've got that list of 100 things. Because it's utterly impossible that you can be a human being with 100 likable character traits and qualities simultaneously be worthless. Because anyone with a list like that is lovable. It's just logic. So let's tackle this from that baby step, learning to like and know myself, logical conclusion. Because what we can convince our minds of, we can tell our hearts. And what our hearts will believe and identify with, we can start making our access to the core of our being.
When I was really struggling in my own life and in my own heart, for me, it was through animals. Someone said to me, you can't possibly love that animal if you're not love. So if you think that you're loving this animal from a place of some kind of weird vacuum that doesn't exist, you're crazy. You are loving this animal because you are love. And that's really what opened the door for me to accept the fact that I really needed to tap into that love and I really needed to love myself more, even when I didn't feel worthy. I had no idea how to love myself. I really didn't. But it was in my ability to love animals so much. I mean, especially as a kid, I loved every animal and land or sea. And I really resonated with they're sentient beings. I really resonated with them. And this woman that was in my life at the time said, but that's you. That's not them. And it changed my life. So I guess what I would say if somebody's watching this and they're having a hard time accepting and embracing and owning that they really are a diamond is there's something or some creature or someone that you love. I don't care if it's a daisy or a turtle. I don't care. Do you love tattoos? Don't care. There's something that you love and you can make that love grow. It can just be that one thing on your list and nurture, water it, give it some sunshine, take it for a walk, stretch its muscles and let that grow because that is you. Even if you can't own it right now today, maybe you can tomorrow, just by sitting with it for a little bit. Even if you think that love is actually for the dog or the horse or the dolphin or the whatever, Go ahead and think that for a minute and let that love expand until it washes over you and you do realize and accept that you are that. You are that brilliant, shining version of your unique self.
I love that so much. That is so, so beautiful. I love that so much. That's gorgeous. And it's so true. You know, if you think about how many human traits we don't describe using animal terms, and with my fascination with psychology, we can look at certain character traits and certain behaviors and even personality disorders as being personified by certain animals. Even something like a psychopath, you can look at a creature like a shark and go, that's kind of sharky behavior, right? They smell blood, they're the ultimate predator. And so whatever that animal is that you love, not only are you loving that animal from the love that must be inside of you, but what is the resonance with the character trait that that animal is personifying? Because that would be a really, really easy thing to start with loving yourself about. So, for example, if you really love dolphins, what are dolphins, the personification of? They're so beautiful, they're so friendly, they're protective, they're playful, they're joy. So if you really love dolphins, are those traits in you? Are you friendly, playful, joyful? I grew up loving swans. Swans mate for life. They're elegant and they're graceful. And you never see them struggling, even though it's going on like crazy under the water. So that must mean that I have some strength and resilience and some grace in myself. And I can love it as much in myself as I do in a swan. So I love that analogy. That's beautiful, Laurie. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for connecting with Light for Life. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you would like to work with one of us, you can find our contact information in the About section.
Please share your insights, your questions, and your comments with us. We value your feedback. And we really hope that we will see you for our next episode. We upload one every Thursday.
Until we connect again, we send you love and light.